This is me, Cobra Jafari, organizing a 50k ultramarathon race in Afghanistan, October 2019, in the breathtaking mountains of York in Badakhshan. But every story has a beginning. Let's go back to where it all started. One day, I turned to my team and I told them, let's do something big. As a runner, I always wanted to hold running races back in Afghanistan. So I told them maybe let's do a 50k race in one of the remote provinces of Afghanistan. Luckily, everybody agreed. Anyway, my travel buddy that time, but now my darling husband, and I got on a bus and headed out. The route to Badakhshan was dumpy, dusty. For 9 long hours, we drove from one mountain to another and winding paths. By the time we reached Badakhshan city, I was exhausted and starving. I hadn't eaten during the trip, hoping to find something healthy once we arrived. But just a few hours after lunch, disaster struck and I got severe diarrhea. It hit me so hard I ended up in the hospital for the night. Lying there, I told myself, this is too much, Cobra, just go back. But after a few injections and IVs, I stood up and thought, no, I'll finish what I started. A little diarrhea won't stop me, but trust me, it wasn't little. The next morning, we got a driver and off we went again. Another 24 hours on the bumpy, dusty road. But this time, it felt different. The landscape was breathtaking. It was like driving through heaven. When we finally arrived in York, I tapped my shoulder and said, thanks, Cobra. This was worth it. The beautiful York was unlike anything I had ever seen. The mountains, the water, the trees, everything was perfect for a 50k running race. After that, we headed back to Kabul to begin preparation for the race. Despite the challenges, we gathered a dedicated team, and 4 months later, we were ready to return to Badakhshan. This time, to save time and energy, I booked flights for the first half of the trip. When me and the team got to York, our race location, we started preparing for the race. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. But then, out of nowhere, I ended up in the hospital again. This time with a severe anxiety attack. For a moment, it felt like everything was falling apart. But I reminded myself how far I had come. Even an anxiety attack couldn't stop me now. Early the next morning, we headed to the race location to set everything up. We installed the checkpoints and banners, ensuring everything was ready for the big day.
چند تا پایین کنم کبرا؟ 3 تا.
And my husband, well, not yet at that time, just our photographer, showing off his balance control. Finally, the race began. The racers were divided into two groups, those running 50 kilometers and those running 10 kilometers. What about you guys? Do you like running? Let me know in comments.
اینجا
The race stretched late into the night, but it was a fantastic experience and a memory I'll always cherish. The next day, we had the chance to visit a weekly bazaar held at the Shignan and Tajikistan border. It was an incredible cultural experience that added even more meaning to our trip.
پل مرد تاجیکستان از افغانستان به تاجیکستان از منطقه شغنان.
I'm not sure why I look so angry in that photo. On our way back to the capital of Badakhshan, we faced an unexpected challenge. Our car window shattered. The driver stopped in the middle of nowhere and demanded immediate payment. We paid him and finally made it back to the capital. And then half of our team had to stay an extra night due to flight cancellation. I know, lots of challenges, right? But despite all the obstacles, this experience was truly unforgettable. This race was my tribute to my country, Afghanistan. For those who joined the race, it was an adventure of a lifetime, something they'll proudly share with future generations. To everyone who helped me make this race possible, be proud of yourselves. You became a small but meaningful part of Afghanistan's history. Subscribe to follow my stories.